Boo.
Thank you for joining us for the Mexican Mormon Mouth Off. I'll be the mediator for this segment. My name is Colby Tapp, and to my left is Gaston Arbitro, our resident Mexican of the show. And to my right is Jacob Mormon, or Jacob the Mormon, however you like it. And he is the Mormon for this segment. And for this segment, I decided to pick a topic that involved both Mexicans and Mormons, and rather than just a broad political issue. Today in Salt Lake City, the LDS Church released a statement basically telling their followers and believers to allow undocumented immigrants to do whatever they can to square up with the law, meaning that legislators step aside and allow the illegal immigrants amnesty to some degree or some sort of way to become legal. And a lot of people on Capitol Hill are opposed to this. A lot of the Republican Utah establishment, they've been outspoken about it. But standalone, the church made that statement, and the majority of our Capitol Hill, our representatives, are LDS church members, in fact. So take it away, boys.
As always, I have an opinion on that. For once, the church. I think they're making a pretty damn groovy call with this, because there's that film, I don't know, it's A Day Without a Mexican, where the film's premise is basically all the Mexicans disappear overnight, and the economy just crashes. There's no one to do the labor, there's no one to dig the trenches and clean the fucking toilets, and so my people would really appreciate this if the church would keep advocating such directives, I guess, and letting, telling the legislators to step aside, because those Mormons, they're great. They're great with business. They're great with economy. They're great. They're, industry. It's the Utah State motto, yep. And so I think if you want a booming economy, you got to have someone's back to climb on. So
Absolutely.
There you go.
The Empire State Building wasn't built by Americans. It was built by Irishmen.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's kind of crazy because they said, that they didn't think the current laws were standing up to a high moral standard.
What do you mean high moral? Like
giving, rights that the Mexican migrant workers weren't being given enough rights.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But also, the problem is, though, is they support guest worker program as a bill to, handle illegal immigration. And in my opinion, guest worker programs are demeaning. Completely demeaning. Basically, it allows, migrant workers to come into the United States, work, pay a tax, and then when their work is done, back to Mexico. You know what I mean? There's very little infrastructure set up to nationalize these migrant workers.
No, for sure.
You know what I mean? And it seems really unfair that these people will come, dig our ditches, change our laundry, in Deer Valley. There's
Right.
assholes up there. But, these people come, they're maintaining our infrastructure, they're making the wheels turn.
Absolutely.
And
yeah.
They just want to throw them back under the bus as soon as they can milk them for all they're worth.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is that if they're paying them decent wages, if they're paying them equal wages to whites and citizens, here in America, if they're paying them equal wages and they're making them pay a tax, and I think that's fine, but I've heard the other side of that argument where they say they come here, they make all the money, and then they bolt back to Mexico and spend pour all their money into the economy there. And I've heard that argument, which I think if the Mexicans come here, they get paid equally. I think I totally agree with you that there should be a naturalization program to naturalize these immigrant workers. Because if they're here, they're breaking, they're busting their asses, doing the work. Then yeah, like why not take it to the next step and see if they can do this? Pursue the American dream, if you will.
No, guest worker programs, they're fucking dangerous. Like, it's putting a citizen, who's somebody who should be a citizen, on a lower level. It's like blacks only getting 3/5 voting power.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they're working here. Where does the vote issue come in? Do they get a 20% vote, a vote at all? They're subject to all our laws, everything. You know what I mean? There's gonna have to be. I don't know. It seems like there are too many variables to tackle with guest worker program, and you can't make it perfect. You should.
No, sure. So, do you agree with the church is the church's call on this?
I think it's very convenient for them to, say that they high moral standard at the same time would support a guest worker program. Same statement. It's
a start, though. It's a start. It may not be perfect, and it may be.
They're sending two different messages, though. They're trying to appeal to both groups, and there's nothing that makes me more disgusted than when Mormons bend their ideals for politics.
Oh no, sure, and they're guilty of that.
It's been
many
happening
times over
since 1847 when Utah became a state, and they want to throw stones where they can at their own people, at Gentiles for not doing things, and then at the same time will just do whatever they can to remain popular, and it's disturbing to me, and I don't like it.
No, for sure.
I just to me it feels like a just another political trick. I guess I have a pretty much overall contempt for most religions, but I see as most of what I've seen as far as the Republican establishment or the Mormons go in the state of Utah is I think, in my opinion, they want these people for the tithing, for the low wages, but on the other hand, I'm impressed greatly that they are actually, but they are playing for two different sides, but I'm impressed that they are supporting their ability to be naturalized, because I think that is the best thing. The only reason I'm against illegal immigration is because it creates a slave population in the United States that doesn't have workers' compensation, that can be treated poorly. All of these things, I think, as Americans, we should keep that standard of living where each man earns a good wage for a hard day's work.
Oh yeah.
So these people making $7 an hour, that if they fall off the ladder and break their arm, they're fucked, or you know what I mean, because they're not on the books. That's the only thing I'm against, and so I guess it's a good thing that the Mormons are supporting this, but I see underhanded political, and
bullshit.
trying to keep good PR with all the fag hating as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. So if they brought these migrant workers over, started, had them, engaged them in a naturalization program, paid them equal wages, and even included benefits, the same benefits they give to wide old fucking Jake over here, then good on them. They're being humanitarian at that point. So,
and that's progressive.
That's absolutely, and progressive,
and that's
is
American.
Not a bad thing. That is a great thing.
One more question is, when did it get so hard to become American?
When you were born in Mexico.
Yeah, there you go.
Because that's about as hard as it gets. Because if you're born in Israel, you're born in Europe, you can fucking get naturalized pretty easily. Mexico.
It's the negative connotation, dude. It's the...
in all the period pieces I've seen from the 19th century, it's immigrants streaming off boats. They check them for lice and kick them to the streets.
No, I guess, the Irish went through a very similar thing back then. But once again, every age, America does. They piggyback on the bleeding and sun-bleached back of some people, whether it be Irish, Italian, Mexican, whatever. Who knows? It may be the Canadians next. It's that cycle, that vicious fucking cycle.
The Mexicans are the new Irish, you know.
Oh, for sure.
America.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well, they deserve titles. They deserve respect. If they're doing this hard work, they shouldn't have to live in fear of being arrested or deported or anything like that. If they're you know what I mean? If they are being there's nothing more American than coming from filth and strife and poverty and coming and working hard and making money and feeding your family and giving them good ability to go to college and
absolutely.
You know, so absolutely open the fucking doors, but yeah, I mean we can't, I don't know. I just view it as a slave population in the I mean, seeing Park City and stuff, I mean, that's the way I feel. These dudes hanging Christmas lights, they fall off the ladder, what's their boss going to say, you know what I mean? Whereas if you're working for a real company above the line, you know, you have a net beneath you,
yeah.
Whereas they can fall hard, and that's, I don't know, I feel like if you're working hard in this country, you should be able to be afforded all the other qualities that we have.
Since this is a citizen noise exchange, has anybody checked for Arbitro's papers?
No comment. No comment.
We demand that he show his birth certificate long form on the Facebook page.
Fuck yourselves. I will not show my birth certificate. It's an invasion of my personal privacy.
We have a secret African host on this show.
Alrighty then. So,
is that a wrap?
I think that's a wrap.
That was Mexican Mormon mouth off.
Mexican Mormon mouth off for you. And good Lord. Okay, so that wraps that up. We're going to do, once again, we're going to do drunken events with senior news correspondent